GM everyone, and welcome to another NEAR Protocol Town Hall. I'm Peter from NEAR Week, your NEAR, and I'm here to take you through what's been going on in the NEAR ecosystem for the past month. To give you a brief update on what we're seeing in the world, it's in a moment of deep transition. The internet is changing. First it was pages, then apps, now agents. AI agents won't just write essays or generate images. They'll act, trade, make decisions on our behalf on their own. To make that work, we need more than just smarter models. We need infrastructure. We need railroads, something to help millions, eventually trillions of agents coordinate. That's NEAR. NEAR gives them that full stack, on chain, AI native. So when we say NEAR is for AI, we're not guessing. We mean it and we're building it. Let's get into it. First off, is a regular. It's NEAR's co-founder and the guy who's been thinking about this longer than most, Mr. Ilya Pulisukin. Welcome to the stage. It's all yours, Ilya.
Okay, thank you, Peter, and really excited to be here. I hope everyone's doing well. It is indeed an interesting transition time. We, on one side, have just one after another amazing progress on the AI space on what's possible. I think the kind of recent moment became very visual what you can do with AI if you haven't really tried. Do try. But the interesting thing is because we're so visual, like just things you can do now, right? With any image, right? From interior design to changing outfits to redesigning to creating ads, visuals, etc. Like it's kind of amazing explosion, similar to what happened on text and code, right, over the past couple of years. So I think like the AI space is just accelerating, and I think the recent tariffs, right, that announced yesterday are just going to accelerate robotics even further. I mean, US is trying to onshore the manufacturing, but the reality is there's nobody who wants to work on those factories, and so it's going to be all robots. There's already really interesting companies in robotic space, and I think there's an interesting opportunity there around telepresence, around DeepIn, around also different crypto primitives to really engage with creating kind of what is the next generation manufacturing that's fully automated looks like. Now, all of that is in the future, and let's go and review the past quarter as we are just starting Q2. If you go to the next slide. So we had a pretty amazing quarter. I think there's a lot of things to be excited about. I think the one that I'm really been kind of exciting to see is the transition we had from 6 shards to 8. And I think the important part here is not the number, but actually the way it was done, right? So first of all, I mean, obviously NEAR has set out to build this blockchain that not just is easy to use and easy to build on, but really can handle billions of users and can scale as kind of people come in, applications come in, use cases come in without, fights on the forums about, our blocks are small or big, without needing to fight to increase gas limits, etc. It was designed to really scale as more applications and more users are using it. Same as, you have it with kind of traditional web services. And kind of historically, we had a very kind of process, like recharting process that required, few epochs, and so it was a pretty slow. And so this transition have been done within one block, right? So within 1 second, we went from 6 shards to 7, and then to 8. And so the idea here is that now we can actually increase number of shards at the moment when there's a ton of demand coming in, and really kind of expand capacity really dynamically for the blockchain. And this is also means we need more validators, we need more kind of participants in the network, but it really kind of highlights the technology that Near1 team has been building and kind of advancing with stateless validation and Nightshade v2. But really exciting to see this progress, and I'm even more excited about Sharding smart contracts and other things they're working on for the rest of the year. Now, we had a ton of hackathons, right? So we've kind of introduced new primitives around the agents, kind of AI agents, obviously intents, integrated with AI agents, and then shade agents as well, and we'll talk about it. And so it was really important that we actually tested out with a ton of developers, right? So we've done a 1 trillion agent hackathon, which was online. We had an in-person Coinbase hackathon, as well as a useful agents hackathon we organized with Electric, and then Agent Games Day in Denver. So really just engaging developers across different new products we had put out. A lot of things, were still in progress. And so we needed that feedback. We needed to know what to improve. And so really excited. Thank everyone who participated. And I'm hoping we'll see some of the products as well going to production from those hackathons. Now, on the AI side, we've been kind of working really across both research and really building product. And on the research side, there's 2 papers that we pushed out. One is a paper called Proof of Response, and it's really a fundamental new way of ensuring liveness in decentralized network. It's actually akin to creating a Tor network as well, where you have different nodes in the network that effectively hide the entrance and exits in the but it provides a cryptoeconomic incentives to ensure that every node is indeed actually sending messages and you are getting response from the server that you requested. This is useful for machine learning. This is useful for APIs. This is useful for storage. This is useful for kind of generally any service on internet that you want to get access to. So really excited. We have a kind of prototype of this. There's a team working on this tirelessly, and we're going to be pushing more of actual implementations. They actually have it prototyped in near core, so really integrating it in this protocol. And then we have decentralized confidential machine learning, right? It's really kind of bringing all of these pieces together and introducing a solution to a ton of problems that AI space has, right? Confidentiality and data privacy, data locality for countries, right? I'm in South Korea right now. There's no access to, for example, ChatGPT because you're not allowed to export customer data from Korea. So you need to have data centers in Korea to use it. And then, in case of OpenAI, they don't have data centers here, and normally, a company wouldn't trust to just upload their weights to somebody else's data center, right? So we're addressing that problem. We're addressing monetization, where instead of open sourcing, you can put it on this cloud, and now everybody has access to it, but they still need to pay, and they still preserve their confidentiality. And there's a number of safety and other concerns. So check it out, the paper, and there's a talk I did at the NVIDIA GTC outlining really how that system works. Now, we also had product launches. The OmniBridge launched really, and I think the migration of Rainbow Bridge to OmniBridge is happening, but OmniBridge leverages the chain signatures technology and really unites kind of the bridging across different chains into a single interface, kind of single protocol. And so now, tokens coming from different places can be unified. We also have agent interaction and transaction protocol, right? The AITP, which is, think of the bridge because the agents, but really it's a way for agents to interact and pay each other and transact. And finally, the shade agents is an ability to not just run an agent in verifiable kind of trusted execution environment, but actually execute actions through the blockchain, use chain signatures to deploy these actions across the board, right? And proximity, I'm sure we'll share more, but have a few examples of this. Now, we had a merge of Ref and Borrow into Rare Finance, and they're kind of have the points program running. There's a Sweat that introduced Mia, their personal assistant that can help you with fitness, that can help you with crypto, that can do actions. We have Templar, that is it was their fundraise, and testnet showing the multi-chain lending. We have Satoshi Port with their beta for prime brokerage. There's a ton of other Bitcoin projects that are in progress. Obviously, really excited about Abound. Abound is probably one of the reasons, like this kind of use case is one of the reasons why we got into blockchain in the first place, right? The original, we were trying to pay people around the world. Like, how do you pay people into China, into Southeast Asia, into Eastern Europe? Was Near AI back in 2018. And so Abound is really example of that, where they're allowing people from America to send money back to their families in India. And they went from effectively, days and weeks that it was taking them to, 1 second time for transactions, and from, multiple percents of fees to down to, fraction of a cent, tenth of a cent for the transfer. So really excited to see actual use case of remittances, of money transfer globally in production. There's a ton of users already using it. There's over 1 million in daily volume there. Really excited to see new chain signatures as well. Kind of the new version was way higher performance, lower latency, and I know our team continues working on improving that. We have a ton of stuff happening on the Intent side, right? There was a few product updates, including one on April 1st, which wasn't a joke. But you can now do OTC trades, you can do gifts and link drops, those who remember those. There's obviously more chains that got added. Kyber's integrating, Infinex is integrating. The Nuffle got renamed to More Markets and using Founders Tech as well to really move around different assets between different chains. So I think there's a lot of projects and kind of next generation projects that leveraging now all the unique offerings we have built and really bringing them to market, not just kind of in Near ecosystem, but beyond that across all of the Web3 ecosystems and even beyond it, traditional ones. So really exciting. I've been obviously with the team at the events across those East Denver, as well as ESSF and NVIDIA GTC. And so really kind of exciting to see on one side, San Francisco was, a ton of activity. There's a ton of crypto people, but as well as there's just a lot of AI people, right? The Useful Hackathon was very much focused on AI developers coming in. They didn't need to know anything about crypto. It was all kind of, transparent for them to use. And then NVIDIA GTC really seeing kind of the impact AI is making, right? NVIDIA has been really pushing across the board on what is possible now to do with these advanced models. We have Biddle Asia coming here in Korea, and then Token 2049 in Dubai. So really excited for folks in around these areas. If you're around, come in. Around Biddle Asia, there's AI Hackathon as well, engaging kind of Korean and Asian community. And there's a bunch of side events at Token around AI and blockchain. So looking forward to those. Next slide. Yeah, so just to give you a quick, visual, if you missed it, this is kind of example of a visualization you can get at I think datalake.xyz. I'm gonna butcher the URL, but effectively you can see every shard, and then you can see transactions happening on different smart contracts, and also sending cross shard messages to each other. So there was a stream on Near Protocol Twitter, really kind of showcasing this. So really exciting to see this again. For me, when we envisioned this in 2018, we've been We actually built, I think, 3 or 4 versions that we threw away before we concluded, kind of got to Nightshade design, and obviously, improvements that Bowen and the team made with Nightshade v2. It's really exciting to see this. Next slide. I know I'm pretty over time, so yeah, we hit kind of 6 months high in daily transactions. I think a lot of it came from also just battle testing the mainnet and setting a new record on transactions per second. I think it hit more than what was written on ChainSpect as theoretical maximum. So yeah, it's really exciting to see kind of blockchain to continue really, running with all the upgrades and transitions and supporting the use cases people use it for. Next slide. Similarly, on the AI side, we have pretty good growth of the agent of people building agents. There is, in between February and March, we had over like 600 agents built, kind of across different areas. Obviously, people are forking and upgrading agents. So if you haven't checked out app.near.ai, there's a bunch of agents that people building. Next slide. So lots of exciting stuff. The even more things are kind of coming in the pipeline. We have migration of OmniBridge, as I mentioned, with Rainbow. We have more intent liquidity coming as well. And the team is working on permissions listings. The really exciting part is a chain signature EDDSA support. So for those who are not familiar, right now chain signature support ECDSA, which is Ethereum, Bitcoin, and those chains, and Solana, Cosmos, Ton require EDDSA, which would enable kind of a lot simpler approach there. And chain signatures are going to get packaged into trust execution environments to actually enable higher level of security of the whole system. And then kind of using OmniBridge and chain signatures, launching Omni tokens as well to bring them across all the chains. On the AI side, I think MCP server actually already launched. And you can use it from Claude Code, for example, or any other solution. They're actually working on a bunch of stuff on MCP on Near AI side as well. And so you'll be able to use it from the agents in Near AI. We also upgrade Near AI so that you can log in without Near account. That's been one of the big feedback around, as used, especially consumers coming, but also developers that really want to try and use it before figuring out the blockchain part. We have kind of the MVP of all the confidentiality and verifiability, and so we're going to be launching that as well, and continue evolving the AITP payments to support more and more options and integrating with intents. Next slide. Yeah, on the protocol side, I'm really excited actually about the speed up on the blockchain side, right? So the team has been working on improving the block time, right? We've kind of went from 1 to 1.2 seconds since mainnet, and the plan is to release with the next version the 600 millisecond block time, and which will make 1 second BFT finality, which as far as I know is probably the fastest. It's 12 times faster than Solana's finality. And so I'm really excited to kind of see that. The intents are integrating with OmniBridge to really kind of expand and increase security. And really exciting, this House of Stake. So we have the testnet version live, we have the delegates, and so really rolling it out and getting the stake, getting the people proposals, right? I know the community been really kind of reeling behind and where's our MVC days? And I think this, we're very close to having the version, and they really want to see and kind of get people to participate in that new system. And then we test it and we iterate. But now it is really enabled by the smart contracts and kind of verifiable logic. So obviously there's a ton of stuff on the community side that's happening, like final Infinex launch, Satoshi Port, there's Chiron Money and Covenant, which is other DeFi projects, Atlas and Vita. If you haven't seen Atlas as well, already on testnet. So kind of real kind of multi-chain DeFi that leverages intense chain signatures, plugging all of this together and enabling kind of new experiences for users across Web3. And so I just to make one comment here, I think a lot of folks being, hey, we've had some projects failing, like today Midtake announced that they're closing, which is obviously very unfortunate and sad to see. But at the same time, that is pretty normal, right? That you have a lot of startups that try to build a successful product and it doesn't work out. That is pretty normal. And so the kind of exciting part here is we have a new batch of these projects which are really exciting. They have validation from the market around kind of their use cases, and I think they're going to be making a really meaningful contribution to the ecosystem as well. Next slide. Yeah, so we also started tracking more on inflows and outflows in the ecosystem to really understand kind of how the people are kind of onboarding the everything from users to whales to also projects. Kind of one of the important pieces that we've been really trying to align is how do we drive goals across foundation and the whole ecosystem to make sure that everybody understands how as well their contribution fits into this broader goal. And so net inflows is a really kind of the framework that we're using, because for DeFi projects, for example, it drives inflow of money into the ecosystem. For if you're launching a token, it drives inflow because you're creating a pool with a near. For House of Stake, it drives inflow because people are staking and participating in governance. For for some of the other solutions, it drives inflows from people kind of wanting to come in and transact, or buying near and participating in different applications. So it's really kind of serves as like a unifying platform. Next slide. And then the other piece we've been tracking a lot is how does Near stack up in the AI kind of crypto market space. And so obviously the whole market went down, but in the AI crypto space as well. But Near has been kind of on a relative basis gained some of the positioning there. And this is something that we're going to continue kind of set as a goal for the Near Foundation, to really showcase that Near is AI for blockchain for AI, and kind of really continue driving dominance in this category. Next slide. I think that's it.
Thank you so much for coming on, Ilya. I'm gonna have to rewatch what you just presented. Like, that was really jam-packed. So much stuff going on, so much active shipping, so much being built, so much infrastructure. Can't wait to see it all come to life. All right, next up we got Kendall from Proximity. Kendall, the word is yours.
All right, and yeah, I'm gonna actually share my screen quickly. Shoot, it's gonna do this. All right, I'm gonna have to quit and rejoin, so I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, and we're back. All right, just 1 second here. Okay, there we go. All right, so exciting week. Can I share all these? There we go. Exciting week over here at Proximity. We have the first Shade Agent live in production. Everyone here can actually try it out right now. To recap on what Ilya said, like why Shade Agents are interesting. They are fully non-custodial. Both the agent code and the smart contract that is coupled with the agent code are fully verified. So obviously smart contracts are running on chain. And what's really interesting about Shade Agents is that the agent code actually runs within a trusted execution environment that has to prove it is running a particular code hash to a smart contract. And then all keys and interactions like that are basically used by the agent are managed through the smart contract, meaning that only verified instances of this agent code are actually able to execute transactions. So why is that cool? Well, it enables developers to build things like this agent we call base names. So base names on the surface sound simple. It's like a way for you to register names on base entirely through X or just through X and any wallet you have that can send funds to a given address. It works by basically tagging base names on Twitter, telling it you want to grab a base name, and then it'll actually respond to you and say, hey, send this amount of ETH on base to this address and we'll buy this name for you. So to unpack like what's happening here, basically the agent is running in this T. It's actually monitoring Twitter for any interactions with this handle. And then when it sees an interaction with this handle, it is actually going to create a special address for this user that is basically a near smart contract controlled address. So this address right here, this 0x9 address, this is an address that is controlled by that smart contract on near that is basically managing this entire agent workflow. And so the worker agent that's running this T can then monitor this address for an ETH deposit. And if we see here, we'll see basically I made this ETH deposit from my address, sending it this amount of ETH. And then the agent's actually able to do something as a result of seeing that deposit. So what it does is it basically constructs this transaction to actually register this base name. And so what then happens is it basically constructs this transaction. It's basically a raw base transaction. It sends it to this near smart contract. So you can see we have this. This is a v1.shadeagent.near. And there's basically this sign method that's called on this contract with the payload, which is that raw payload, which is then returned back, I think right here, returned back to, and you see this is actually my payload with like the different components of basically this signature. And so now we have this agent has this signed payload that it can actually send to the base L2 to be processed. So that's what's happening here. And then again, you can see after we register this base name, then this agent actually refunds any of the leftover amount that the user had sent. So what ends up happening here is basically, and you can see it responds like done, registered this. You can see this is like that registration transaction, and all is complete. So yeah, what's really, really cool here is this is enabling developers to basically condense pretty complicated workflows. I mean, this one is somewhat simple, but you can actually have, as long-lived or complex of a workflow as possible into just simple transfers. So the user's interaction with this, basically this universal API, was just sending this specific amount of assets or even more. Like that's the cool thing about the refund step. They can send as much or as little to this as they want. And as long as they send this exact amount at some point, then this agent can complete the workflow and refund the extra. And you can see here what I use this Twitter-based application called BankerBot, which is like basically managing a wallet on my behalf through my Twitter account. to actually send this. So I didn't even have to leave X. I could do all of this through Twitter/X, and this whole workflow just completed. So yeah, we have a lot more of these coming. I definitely recommend trying it out. Again, while this interaction happened on Base, the power of chain signatures, like all of this entire application is a Near application. So there's actually several Near transactions that originated in order to send this on Base. And the same kind of workflow will work on any ECDSA chain for now, and then very, very soon we'll work on any chain, because obviously the launch of EDDSA is happening soon. So yeah, this is the first agent of production. I think there were several hundred names that were registered through this, which is like, a nice starting point. Obviously, going to get to millions before too long. And we actually have the next Shade agent coming out on Monday. So stay tuned for that. Keep your eyes peeled to both the Proximity and I believe Near accounts. We'll likely be talking about that. And if you're interested in building something like this kind of fully verified autonomous agent workflow, definitely reach out to us at Proximity, and we can help you build it.
Thank you so much for coming on, Kendall, and sharing about Shade agents. I highly encourage everyone who hasn't read about it to go to proximity.fi and read more about what Shade agents are. They are a truly innovative feature only possible on the Near protocol. Next up, we get the Barry intern to tell us more about what Strawberry AI has been up to. Welcome, Barry intern. The stage is yours.
Hello. So let me share my screen. Can you guys hear me? Just quick check.
Yes, we hear you perfectly.
Oh, okay, it's working. So let's talk about Strawberry AI. Strawberry AI is basically, I would say it's a product that lets you research and do on-chain action directly via a unique front end. You don't need to go through any website and check if there are RAGs or not in order to do on-chain actions. But we spent quite a few months trying to building all the infrastructure for research. And then we eventually moved to the DeFi part of it. And I'm talking about on-chain action like swapping, depositing, transferring, and bridging. And yeah, we basically, right now we moved completely the front end to like classic ChatGPT style, where you can just ask question and get some text in return. But the new version will actually leverage a lot of DeFi Lego pieces, I will say, starting from Near intents for every token that is supported for the Near intents, it will actually use it on the background. And as fallback, it will also use any other protocol, such as, like, for example, DBank, 1inch, whatever it is, without you having to even care about it. And so right now, we're actually trying to ship it super fast because we have all the infrastructure. We changed everything to like MCP servers in order to make it scalable. And we're doing our best. It's starting to work. I'm going to show you like a quick look at it. I would say, let's try with a token that it's supported. So right now it's doing its own research in our RAG pipeline. And I can just go on and ask you, okay, you know what? Let me try buying some with USDC. As you can see, it's very like, if you ever used the first version of Strawberry Chat, it was just text in, text back. Now it's actually seamless between the front end. it's doing its own research, trying to find the correct token addresses and double checking if everything is correct. Like, for example, I can check, do I have any Chainlink in my wallet already, for example. Say 1000 USDC, for example. And so far it's going pretty good. We're like the underlying backend already supports on-chain actions, and we're, as we're speaking, like I was working until now on it in order to bring transactionality to it. And we're pretty excited. I think we're gonna ship it like very soon, especially the near intents part. It's like all already settled. And yeah, I really like, I even heard the news that you will allow for permissionless listings or near intents. I think I might switch entirely on near intents because this is quite awesome, because I don't need to route like check in for the correct routes. If we have, I think, the permissionless side, we will just need near intents in order to do any complex route path. So I'm pretty excited. I hope to stay on track and follow all the developments. I'm gonna also check out the Shade agents. Sounds pretty cool. And yeah, of course, if you have any question and if you wanna check out already the first version of Strawberry Chat, feel free to go on our website.
Thank you so much, Barry Intern. Keep shipping, keep building, and looking forward to see you again with another awesome update on what you're building. Thank you so much.
Thank
And next up, we got, let me just share my screen, Templar Protocol. Just gonna bring you on the stage, Royal Fool, real soon. There you are. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey,
Ready?
could you do the next slide, please?
Yes, of course. I'm gonna remove myself and then change the slide.
Thank you. All right, cool. So it's been a big month for us. We came out of stealth mode. We both announced our first round of fundraising. Thank you to all the both VCs and angel investors. We have some great advisors as well. In addition to our raise, we also launched the front end and also the contract for the testnet app, which we have been making several updates to. Fortunately, there's nothing critical, but we have made some good gas optimizations, storage management, added some edge case coverage to the front end. So thank you to the 3,500 plus accounts that have participated in our testnet in the first couple of weeks. As of this week, the contract is starting the first round of audits. This is the near only contracts. We are going to be adding support for Bitcoin as collateral, and we'll after that be adding support for Ethereum stablecoins as well. We also did some work to make a couple of different technical upgrades for the future. One, we designed kind of the system such that there is no on-chain or smart contract compatible wallet that is necessary in order to interact with the protocol, using a combination of trial accounts, meta transactions, with chain signatures and like clients, we don't require that the user have a MetaMask account, for example, in order to interact with our app. We also designed a future update that would enable recovery of funds in the event that the MPC network has some downtime, which is a edge case possibility. So we're excited about that as well. We want to make sure that the app is secure as possible and covers all the edge cases. We also made updates to our website, updated branding, have a nice about page, links to all the different socials, as well as like our testnet app. We'll be doing a reset of the testnet state tomorrow with updates to the gas usage and storage management. We've also planned to put together points and incentives programs. We have a document on the different use cases and security assumptions, and we've put together a lot of good FAQs that will be put on the website soon. We also announced a partnership with Rera, formerly Ref and Burrow. We'll be providing lending services against native Bitcoin. And they will do some looping as well as liquidations as well. So for our timeline, we are going to have a invite-only mainnet launched by the end of May in time for Bitcoin 2025 conference in Vegas, where we will have support for Bitcoin as collateral and near stablecoins. And around that time, we'll also be raising our next round to help us with expansion to more chains, more partnerships, to increase distribution. And then we're targeting by the end of June, we will have a public mainnet raise, a public mainnet launch with support for ETH stablecoins, Bitcoin as collateral, and near stablecoins and collateral options as well. So that's all from my end for now. I'll hand it back to whoever's next.
Thank you so much for coming and taking us through everything Templar Protocol. Highly suggest everyone to check it out. It's at Templar Protocol on Twitter, and they're seriously pushing the boundaries when it comes to cipher lending. I actually think they invented that term. All right. Lastly, we have open format, and we got Sarah here with us. I'm gonna bring you to the stage, Sarah, and feel free to present your screen. Can you hear me?
Great. I can.
Right.
Can we bring Andy in? Can we bring Andy in as well, please, Peter? Thank you so much.
Bring Andy in. I'll let you guys to it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And so my name's Sarah from Open Format, and I'm here with my co-founder, Andy. Thank you for inviting us to be part of this today. We're so excited to be here and tell you a bit about what we're doing. So we actually have our own virtual chain on Near Protocol, and we want to share with you a bit about how we see our products, intelligent communities, contributing to the wider ecosystem. And so to start with, we just wanted to share a bit about some of the problems that we see that might resonate with a few of you. And so why we wanted to build intelligent communities, and then we'll get into sharing kind of how we're going about that. But really, this is about us trying to solve for the problems associated with the coordination of communities, with reward and recognition, and with general kind of incentives and retention across communities. So we're looking at how valuable contributions often go unnoticed, how difficult it is to understand your communities, especially across different channels, and where those pockets of value are. There's a lot of kind of Quest platforms right now, but they're quite generic and static, and they don't really reflect the community's goals, and also the evolution of a community and the different tasks and the different rewards that can come up. there's a lot of noise. We call them noise machines. These kind of rewards for GM and rewards for kind of, a comment here or there, as opposed to really rewarding valuable contribution and what that means. So there's a whole bunch of stuff here that relates to significant problems around communities that we're here to solve for. And really, we think that this can be really valuable and contributing to the wider ecosystem. So Andy, do you want to share a bit more about intelligent communities?
Yeah, sure. So I can kind of just give everyone a bit of a high level view on what we're building. And we are trying to take very much a community first approach to all of this in terms of solving the coordination issues and kind of the rewarding issues that communities find. So what we've done so far is we've already built kind of a significant portion of our blockchain infrastructure. So right now, our blockchain infrastructure, you can create fungible, non-fungible tokens through our SDKs. And these include soul-bound versions of each token. So soul-bound fungible tokens are great for reputation systems. So we have people using this for point systems and kudos. We also have people using soul-bound NFTs as well, just kind of as like a proof of action. So everyone knows kind of proof of attendance, or just rewarding for contributions. So that's nothing special. But what we do is we can wrap basically all our transactions carry contextual metadata. So right now, we are attaching IPFS hashes to every single transfer. So if you just think of it like tagging a blog post. So this kind of solves the meaningless on-chain data of like, who did this, what happened, why? It kind of just like gives kind of some richness to the transaction. So we've built custom indexers that will index this metadata, so it makes it searchable, filterable by people and agents. So perfect example of this is open source communities, who are someone who's rewarding a contribution in GitHub. You can then include the metadata that includes the repo, user, the PRID, and any other information. I know that, so like we know that Near does some really interesting things around kind of the protocol rewards. So yeah, it feels really kind of aligned with that, which is cool. So right now we are focused. So we're actually available on multiple EVM chains. But as Sarah mentioned, we have our own virtual chain that's on Near, and we are really just trying to take advantage of the speed and the low cost and just the cross-chain capabilities as we kind of prepare to scale things, because right now these are real issues for us in other EVM chains, and kind of Near has this amazing solution. So we're really looking forward to kind of testing that and see how we go. But kind of going back to what you see on the screen, this is very much focusing on the kind of AI infrastructure and this loop that we're kind of playing to. So just to quickly go through it, we've got kind of the monitoring section. So this is around different agents listening to on-chain and off-chain data. So as I mentioned, GitHub, you listen to pull requests, you listen to issues, various other things. And then on-chain, you might be listening to contract deploys, or you might be listening to, see how many people are doing a certain amount of transactions through a certain protocol. So it's essentially these specialized agents who are focused on a specific area platform to then kind of understand what's going on within a specific community or project. And kind of moving on, it's about learning, and it kind of is a two-part thing, really. The agents are learning from the data that it's gathering, but then it's also learning from the community manager. So there's a kind of human input as well, because there will be extra things that need to happen. So we are using RAG in order to allow community managers to add the most relevant, up-to-date data, along with all the other real-time data that is pulling in from other platforms. So things that we have been kind of looking at, a couple of examples, is kind of spotting users who frequently help each other out. These have been missed by a lot of communities that we're testing with. There's also users who are interacting and supporting the community and the community owners don't even know about it. So it's really cool insight, and we can kind of start to see what's important. So like, it's really important to know that each community is very different, as we know. And a lot of the current systems, as Sarah mentioned, are really static, and it's kind of a boilerplate. It's like a templated system of like, go and do a Twitter raid, or, you know, go and do something very basic. So it's really important that in this learning phase that the agents are adapting to like the vibe of each community, because a meme community is very different to a DeFi protocol. They have very different needs. They have very different community members. So it's just about this kind of a cycle in itself around the learning. It just needs to keep adapting. Validating is arguably the hardest piece out of this whole thing, and is a bit that we're kind of only just breaking into. And this is essentially around using swarms of, again, specialized agents to then validate if actions have actually happened. So we've been doing some very first tests on this around Discord, which I will discuss in a little bit later. But yeah, so examples for the validation process is really around kind of confirming that something's actually happened. So the goal really is to use a consensus mechanism between multiple agents who will essentially stake some tokens, to then the goal for them is to just validate whether something has happened. And then once consensus has been made between all of them that something has actually happened, whether it's verifying like a tutorial on post on Farcaster. So if it's for Nia, for example, a user has created the tutorial and posted it, or someone has deployed contracts on Nia, or someone's joined an AMA in Discord, or whatever the different kind of signals are. So once that is kind of everyone's come to consensus on that, it's then rewarded. So the system will then log the action, and it will reward the user, and it will add, as I mentioned, it will go through hopefully our virtual chain, and then it can be rewarded on any chain. And then the last piece is notify. Some users might not want this. That's totally cool. But then you want to be notifying your users where they're at. So they want to know, because all of this is going to be happening in the background. So they don't know what's necessarily what they've been rewarded for. So it's just really important to keep them in the loop on that. So that's kind of that's quite a high level view of the whole cycle, and the loop will just keep repeating, and the goal is for it to just get smarter and faster and more aligned, and will require like less and less input from the community managers, because it will just learn so much. So yeah, I guess we, all of us devs have probably seen how Cursor and V0 and other AI tooling has completely transformed how we write code. How I wrote code a year ago is extremely different to how I do it now. We kind of want to do the same for communities. So, going from from humans doing everything to agents doing the heavy lifting. So then within communities, humans can focus on like what they're good at, being creative, building connections with other people, just building cool shit and bigger picture thinking. So I think, yeah, if we can get to that, that would be awesome. Where we're at right now, we're very much in this monitoring phase in terms of the AI infrastructure. We are focusing on Discord because that's where a lot of communities are at the moment. We're testing with a couple of different Discord communities. We are testing with Aurora and TurboChain as well at the moment. So what we can do right now is generate these impact reports. So it is listening using an agent and also Discord bot to then identify who the top contributors are, the key topics, and then a bit of sentiment analysis over a given period of time. So this in itself, there's already tools that can do this. We're very aware of that, but it's really important to know that these reports give the agent context to start suggesting on-chain rewards. And for now, rewards need to be approved by community managers, unless they just want to stick it into like a YOLO mode and let it do it what it wants. But I wouldn't recommend that. So right now they're recommendations by design because it will suggest them. And then if the community manager is like, okay, this one's a bit rogue, one's a bit less than it needs to be, it means that you can then change it and then reward it manually. But then what that does is once the rewards are then on chain, it's then indexed, as I mentioned earlier, and then it can be used for context for future reward recommendations. So it's trying to keep building that knowledge for the agent specifically around the community that it's supporting. So yeah, so this loop is just really important, and the goal is really to remove the human intervention as much as possible over time as it learns. At the start, it won't know enough, but it's just about fine-tuning those models as much as we can. So early feedback's really positive on the impact reports, and we are just about to push out some reward recommendations and just let that go loose and see what happens. But yeah, I think it's going to be really exciting to see these kind of self-optimizing agents within communities. So yeah, we are opening up our beta. We are looking for communities who are interested in using open format to kind of train their own AI co-pilot. You'll get access, like we can give you one-to-one support. We can also we've got custom reward automations and like on-chain contribution tracking, and also these self-optimizing agents. So yeah, we're already working with a couple of other people, Aurora and Turbo, as I mentioned. So if you are interested, yeah, just fill in the form and we'll book in a call and get some shit rolling. Yeah, that's it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for coming on, guys. Amazing to see what you guys are building, and looking forward to try out your product. Have a ton of ideas on how to utilize this. So lastly, I just want to say thank you so much, everyone, for coming today. And just gonna share my screen here. Remember that the future coordinates on NEAR, and it's not waiting. What you saw today wasn't theory, it was pure execution. NEAR is not pitching ideas, it's shipping infrastructure for AI, for agents, for the next era of the internet. In a world where intelligence is abundant, coordination is the new alpha. And NEAR is where coordination scales. You heard Ilya say it, robotics is coming, someone needs to coordinate all those robots. This community is grinding, building, and showing the world what's possible. You're early, but more importantly, you're very essential. Shout out to every dev, founder, and community contributor pushing the vision forward. NEAR isn't just a protocol, it's a movement. As always, what was just presented is not financial advice. Do your own research, use your own judgment, but if you're paying attention, you know where the signal is. Subscribe to NEAR Week to stay in the loop. And if you're building something amazing, like all these other projects, the stage is yours. Do not hesitate to hit us up if you want to come along next month. So everyone, see you next month. Keep building, stay agentic, and remember, the future coordinates on NEAR. See you all next month. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Truly, OpenAI is NEAR. Follow NEAR Protocol. Subscribe to NEAR Week.